Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EMN Network TV podcast. Happy Friday night. My name is Demetria Wilson. Thank you. thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, you all can have a seat. Okay, I have a very interesting topic for tonight. Okay, now, this topic is coming from something that I have been privy to, as far as the information about. And it kind of hits home because, I like to speak about things that I have experienced for myself. And if I see somebody else going through something that I've already been through, I like to try to give advice. Okay. Now, I have a channel, another channel. I have several channels up here on YouTube. Just check the description box for that. But I have a channel called EYESMARRIEDNOW. Okay. And what I used to do a few years ago when I first got on YouTube is I used to read some of my poems because I'm a poet. I write poems. And one of the poems that I wrote years ago, it was called You Chose Him. Okay. The reason why I wrote that poem was because of my own personal experience with having kids by dudes who weren't up to par, so to speak. Okay. Now, I believe that, in every relationship, there's it's his side, her side, and then there's the truth. Okay. There's always three sides: his side, her side, and then there's the truth. Okay. Now, you have to take responsibility, okay, for the choices that you make in life, period. Okay. Especially as it relates to relationships. Okay. Now, the reason why I wrote that poem, You Chose Him, was because I used to work for child support many years ago, so I've experienced a whole lot of, he said, she said, and he did this, and they did this, and the kid this, and the baby mama this, and the new girlfriend this, and the new husband this, and all of this craziness, okay? And at the end of all that whole story of the woman talking the crap about the man, or the man talking the crap about the woman, at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for the fact that you chose him. Okay? Women, you can choose who you want your child's father to be. Okay? When you lay down with a man, you have to lay down with the mindset that even if you're using protection, okay, there's no protection that's 100% except for abstinence. Okay? There is no protection out here in the world that's 100% except for abstinence. Okay? So at the end of any day, when you lay down with a man, there's a possibility that you can come up pregnant. Okay? So you have to know this in your mind. Okay? So what happens is the women get with these guys, okay? There could be all kinds of red flags to let you know that you don't need to be dealing with this guy, and that you definitely don't need to be trying to procreate with this guy or marry this guy, okay? However, we as women, and I'm saying we because it's me included, I'm not just talking about this referring to all other women and not myself. I've been down this road, and that's what I'm speaking on, my experience, okay? From my personal experience, the deadbeats, or whatever you want to call guys that aren't up to par, dads. At the end of the day, when I sit back and I look back, okay, there were a lot of red flags. There were a lot of things that happened prior to getting pregnant where I could have ran and turned the other way. And then that would have eliminated all the problems that I had as it related to having a child, being single, and trying to fight him for child support, and just that whole 9 yards. Okay. So my issue is this. Okay. Everybody needs to take responsibility for their own choices, okay? No, it's not right for when a woman to get pregnant and have a kid that the guy's gone and he's not even trying to take care of his child or see his child or have a relationship with his child. No, that is not right whatsoever. Okay? But at the end of the day, ladies, think about it. If you met him and he lived with his mama, he lived with his cousin Cheryl, he lived with his cousin Anthony, or he lived with, like he didn't even have his own place. Grown ass man don't even have his own place. That could be a sign too. You have to look into that, because I'm not saying in all cases like that, it means that he's just a sorry ass, because he could have moved back home with his mom because maybe his mom had gotten sick and he couldn't afford to keep his place and try to keep his mom's place afloat, and he didn't want to put her in a nursing home. It's all kinds of different reasons why a man could be living with somebody else. So you have to investigate that and do your homework on it first, okay? But if it boils down to he's living with someone else and it has nothing to do with someone getting sick and him trying to help them out, then you have to look at that, okay? A grown-ass man living at home with his mama, that's not showing responsibility. So you have to think about it. If you lay down with this man, even though your intentions may not be to have a kid, it could happen. Okay? It could possibly happen. So it's like it's a lot of red flags that are put up that warn us women. Okay? And vice versa, because men have issues too with women. Okay? But this is the thing that I hate. Okay? We ignore all these red flags because, we only thinking with our heart. We so in love. We all infatuated. We all hot and heated. You see what I'm saying? You lay down with this man. You end up pregnant. He don't stick around. And then what do you start doing? Talking bad about him. He is sorry ass. He don't have no job. He broke. He got a little dick. His dick don't work. His breath stink. He used to sleep with prostitutes. He's a liar. Like all these things that you start conjuring up about this man. Come on, ladies. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. You mean to tell me that you didn't know none of this stuff? There was absolutely no clues that none of those things that you said about him existed before you laid down and even slept with him, let alone getting pregnant. Before you laid down and gapped your legs, before you laid down and dropped it low and spread it wide, there was nothing about this man that could have potentially saved you from getting pregnant and having to deal with this irresponsible man for at least 18 years. So that's my point. You have to take responsibility for your own choices. Okay? Another thing, okay? As it relates to if you get involved with a married man or a man who has a girlfriend, okay? Now, I understand in situations where, when you first get involved with a person, they could lie about being married, especially if they are married but separated and not with their wife, and they just kind of been dating but just never went to actually go get the divorce. Okay, fine. But you have to date a married man at your own risk, okay? If you get involved with a man and you know that he's married, then it's at your own risk if you choose to stay with this man and not wait until he get the divorce. If you choose to sleep with this man and end up getting pregnant and not wait until he get a divorce, okay? You doing all of this at your own risk. And at the end of the day, when it all doesn't go well and he ends up back with his wife, that's when you have to take the responsibility and say, you know what? I should not have even gotten involved with him. Once I knew he was married, whether he said he was divorced, whether he said that, we didn't file paperwork, whether he said, we've been seeing other people for the last few years, it's no hope for us, it doesn't matter. You have to think for yourself, okay? So if you lay down and you get pregnant by a man who is still married to another woman, then you can almost you need to accept the fact that you might end up being a single mom. Okay. Okay. So situations happen. You got involved. You knew that he was married. He promised you he was going to get a divorce. He promised you, was nothing going on with the wife. And then as a little bit of time go on, all of a sudden, oh, I'm sorry, but I think I want to try to work it out with my wife. I'm having feelings for my wife. I think I might, want to go try and work it out with her. Who can you really be mad at? When you get involved with a married man, it's at your own risk because it's a possibility that he might change his mind. Him and his wife might decide to reconcile their differences and get back together, especially if they had a lot of years involved in that marriage. They might decide after being out there for a couple years, separated from each other and just dating, they might figure, you know what, this dating scene is a mess. We've been together all of these years. We've gone through a lot. Let's try to rekindle and make our stuff work. Okay? So you can't get mad at him for changing his mind or feeling differently than maybe he did when he first met you. Okay? And then when you get pregnant and he hasn't gotten his divorce, or he decides he want to go back to his wife, now all of a sudden you're not going to see your child unless you get a divorce and you be with us. It's like a package deal type situation. No, it's not a package deal type situation. Okay? He is married to somebody else. He slept with you, got you pregnant, so the only responsibility that he has at this point is to that baby. He has no responsibility to you because it's his choice whether he want to continue to be in a relationship with you. People fall out of love. And if you don't even fall in love first, and then you end up pregnant, and then you mad now because you're pregnant, he's back with his wife, and you all alone, and you hurt. And you feel like, oh, he was a liar. He lied to me. I don't care if his wife told you you can have him. I'm done with him. I've been done with him. We just buddies. It doesn't matter. Wait until he get a divorce. Wait until he gets a divorce. And the same thing if you meet a man and he actually has a girlfriend. He has a pre-created family already. Girlfriend, kids, home, whatever. Okay? Run. If you get with a man and he has a girlfriend and he try to tell you, oh, we still living in the same house, but we not together like that. I'm just still there because I haven't found my own place yet, or I'm trying to get my money saved up so that I can move. I sleep on the couch. Run, ladies. Run. Okay? I'm telling you from my own experience, run. And that's not always easy because if you develop feelings, women tend to fall quicker than men because we are emotional beings. Okay? So, I'm telling you, before you get yourself emotionally involved, make sure you got all the facts about what is going on with him, where he live, who he live with, what's going on. But if it's red flags that go up before you actually lay down and get pregnant by a married man, for instance, if you knew when you met him he was married, he put that out on the table, I'm married, but I'm separated. But then a couple weeks later, oh, I forgot to tell you, I still live with my wife, but we not like that. That's a red flag right there. Okay? And we all ignore red flags. I've ignored red flags. I mean, it could have slapped me in my face and I still would have ignored it. But my point is, if you ignore the red flags, if the red flags slap you in your face, such as he tell you later, a couple weeks after the fact, oh, by the way, I still live with my wife. I forgot to tell you that. But we not together. We don't sleep together. We just still live in the same house. If you don't pick up yourself and run, then you have to, that's called taking responsibility for your own choices. Because that was a big red flag right there. That was a big red flag. I ignored big red flags like that in my life before, so I already know how that all goes. But at the end of the day, if you end up being left busted and disgusted and pregnant, you can be mad at the man. Of course you're going to be mad. You're going to be hurt. But at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself and say, you know what? When he told me that he was still living with his wife, I should have ran. And these are the consequences of not following or paying attention to the red flags. Okay? If the man don't want to be with you no more, that's his choice not to be with you anymore. But don't start talking crap about the man just because he don't want to be with you anymore. You knew he had a little dick from the very first time you laid down and slept with him, but you kept on sleeping with him. You knew his